Have you ever wondered how the seemingly arbitrary concept of statistical significance came to be? Well, let's take a step back into the mid-20th century within the intriguing and complex field of psychology. Here, the idea of statistical significance was born, designed to offer a mathematical seal of approval for experimental results, an objective litmus test, if you will. This concept swiftly caught on, leading to a veritable explosion of statistically significant findings. Researchers, it seemed, had found a new tool to bolster their findings. But, as with any tool, it could be misused. In their zeal to meet the threshold of significance, data was often manipulated, massaged, and molded to fit the desired outcome. The result? A proliferation of findings bearing the coveted badge of statistical significance. Yet the story doesn't end here. Despite its wide acceptance, the use of statistical significance has its critics, and with good reason. But that's a tale for another time. While statistical significance has its merits, it's not without its controversies. Critics, including statisticians and psychologists, argue that an over-reliance on this concept can stifle scientific progress. The issue lies in the fact that this practice discourages the development of theories and alternative explanations for findings. Instead of fostering curiosity and exploration, this approach tends to prioritize results that meet a predetermined threshold of significance. The concept of null hypothesis significance testing, commonly referred to as the null ritual, further illustrates this issue. This method assumes that there is no difference or correlation between experimental groups. If the p-value is less than 0.05, the null hypothesis is rejected. While this approach may seem straightforward, it does not provide new insights. Instead, it merely allows for speculation about the reasons behind an effect. This overemphasis on statistical significance has had far-reaching effects, with some researchers manipulating data to meet the threshold of significance. This practice has led to a proliferation of statistically significant findings that may not hold up on closer inspection. Consequently, confidence in scientific research has been shaken. The over-reliance on statistical significance has led to a crisis of confidence in scientific research. This crisis underscores the need for a shift in how we approach and interpret statistical data in the scientific community. The null ritual, while widely accepted, has its own set of problems. This process begins with the assumption that there is no difference or correlation between experimental groups. This is known as the null hypothesis. The null hypothesis is then rejected if the p-value, a measure of statistical significance, is less than 0.05. This may sound rigorous, but the reality is far from it. You see, this approach doesn't provide new insights. It merely allows for speculation about the reasons behind an effect. The null ritual doesn't encourage the development of new theories or alternative explanations. Instead, it promotes a narrow view of research, one that is focused on achieving statistical significance rather than understanding the broader picture. Moreover, the null ritual can inadvertently incentivize data manipulation. Researchers may feel pressured to tweak their data until they achieve a p-value of less than 0.05, thereby securing a stamp of statistical significance. This does more harm than good. It undermines the integrity of scientific research and can lead to a crisis of confidence in the findings. The issues with the null ritual point to a deeper problem within the scientific community. It's not just about the numbers. It's about fostering an environment that values truth, encourages curiosity, and promotes meaningful scientific progress. So, if the concept of statistical significance is flawed, where does that leave us? Well, the scientific community is already taking steps to rectify the situation. Some scientific journals have now started asking researchers to submit their research designs and data. This approach is designed to discourage the manipulation of data to meet the threshold of significance. But it's not just about preventing data manipulation. It's also about changing our mindset. The over-reliance on the null ritual, where we assume no difference or correlation between experimental groups, has stagnated scientific progress. It's time we moved away from this approach. Instead, we should be focusing on the development of theories, and fostering meaningful scientific progress. We need to encourage exploration and the generation of alternative explanations for our findings. We need to focus less on whether an effect exists and more on understanding why it exists. The journey of statistical significance serves as a reminder that even the most accepted ideas should be open to challenge and re-evaluation.